Okay, I just want to introduce our panelists, and then I'll give them a chance to tell them about themselves and their business and what they do. We have Cortez Springer, financial health mentor. He has shows, a live show that comes on every morning, Monday through Friday at 7 a.m. If you're not listening and watching, you are missing out. He gives tons of information. Cortez Springer, tune in. I have it in my phone. I show it in my calendar every morning. We have James Dickerson, who is the founder of Black Biz on Breakfast. He's also a global consultant, has started a lot of companies. He'll get into that and explain that later. We have Devon Graham of the Biz Spot. She's doing a lot of things, and I'll let her tell you about that also. Then we have my man, Ricky Wilson, comedian extraordinary.
New title.
He has a lot of information to share also regarding on the global and national aspect of getting out of St. Louis. But that's going to be another breakfast, whole nother breakfast. So we'll start with you, Cortez, and I will move out of the way.
Okay, so I am H. Cortez, also known as the one and only financial health mentor to the Black community, where I do my best to bring practical, proven wealth building strategies to working class men and women all over this great country. As Eleanie said, I host a morning live stream called Talking Money in the Morning Live. And don't let the title fool you. It's called Talking Money in the Morning, but we cover pretty much everything on that show. And then my platform is, my base is financial education. We are where we are because we just don't know how the money game is played in this country. Point blank, period. So I do my best to help people understand that if you can't get your tax situation under control, if you can't get your debt situation under control, if you're not making business income and operating from a 1099 and an incorporation standpoint, you will lose in this money game. So that's the perspective that I come from, and then we cover a lot of other areas and how to execute on that game plan, from using social media, online marketing, networking events like this to grow and build your brand, create your authority in the space, and pick a niche and own it and dominate it. My man DJ from Black Friday, the remix, the movie, said entrepreneurship is warfare. And if you don't understand that, then you're gonna lose. You're gonna lose. Black people are the only people on this planet who are on the battlefield treating it like a playground. We gotta change that.
Yes. That's stolen.
That's okay.
Okay, we're just going to dive right into the questions for the panel. First of all, the obvious question is, why should the Black community support Black business? Why? Why should we?
I'll jump in. So that we can get out of our feelings, right? See, when we send our children to go get a job from another nation, or let me say it like this. I say nation all the time, but I don't think sometimes Black people get it. We send our kids to go get a job from another family. Just look at it as another family. Another family, and that family won't hire our kids. We're pissed off to the highest level of pissed off. The reason we're pissed off because we don't produce the jobs ourselves to hire our children. So if we were to spend our money with one another, then that creates the economy where our children can come back home and work for us if they don't learn how to create their own businesses. So we can get out of our feelings when we start circulating our own dollars. I don't think people understand how much 1.5, 1.7, the number keeps fluctuating, however much money that we get our hands on collectively as a people. Just to put it in perspective, if I gave you guys $1 million per hour, every hour, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, for me to give you $1 trillion will take 135 years. That's how much money we have in one single year. And that's the problem. So if we don't start spending it with each other, then we can't complain and get mad at the other cultures who do with our money what we are supposed to be doing with it. When I give my money to the Asian takes that money and he go build his community. I give it to the Jew, he takes that money and go build his community. We have to start doing it the same for ourselves.
I basically asked, what simple steps can we take to shop black? Even when, and you are really
Yeah, and she says intentional. I say plan. See, black people don't have a plan with their money. That's why we shop because of convenience. So, and usually we're shopping as we're ripping and running, doing 1,000 other things. So when I'm in one area of town and I know I got 30 minutes, I could potentially take a 15-minute ride and go spend black. But at the same time, I only got 30 minutes before my son's basketball game. So let me spend all of my money right here where I am because it's convenient. But had I had a plan first, and I would say, I need my clothes dry clean, I need to pick up a few items from the grocery store, I need to go to the barber shop, and I need some new tires. Now I can plot out a course that's going to take me to those black businesses along that route. But when I get up and on Saturday morning, because let's face it, most working class people got one day a week to do everything, right? You don't get Friday because you work Friday. You don't really get Sunday because you go to church and then you're getting prepared for Monday. So you got Saturday and you're trying to do all of this stuff. And if you don't have a plan, then you will fall into some of the stuff where it's just convenient for me to just spend right here and get it over with, get it out the way. But if you put a plan in place and you say, okay, I got this $400, here's what I need. I know here's my black barber, I can drop my kids off here. Yes, the black cleaners is a little ways down the road, but because I drop my kids off to get their haircut, they in line, I run on down the road to the cleaners, drop my clothes off here. Then the black grocery store is across town, but I got time because my kids are 3 heads down, so they're gonna be another hour. I can run over here to the black grocery store, pick things up. On my way back, there's an oil change place. Bam, pull in and get my oil change because I have a plan. And we don't plan our dollars. Now, we got it. And that's just on a practical level. So when I teach finance, I'm teaching that if you don't have a target for every dollar, if you don't have a plan for every dollar, guess what? Somebody else does. I promise you. I promise you, if you don't have a plan or a target for your dollars, somebody else does. So she said, be intentional, but if you have a plan in place, then you can spend that money the way you want to, and you can target those black. And see that extra as a net investment and not as a net loss. See, that extra $2 that I pay for a chicken plate, that's a net investment in my community and not a net loss. Yeah, I know the Wingstop might have that same amount of wings for $2 cheaper, but they also have a chain of stores all across the country to his point. So I see it as a net investment that, yeah, I will just keep investing that extra $2 into this black business. And if we all did that for 6 months, this black business has a revenue to get the chicken that's the same prices that everybody else is getting, and then they can lower their prices to better. So you see it as a net investment and not a net loss when you're paying a little bit extra.
So next question. At one time, blacks were really good at supporting each other, paying naturally. What happened?
And then the other thing too is you look at the psychological state that we were in during that time as well, and what the mainstream community had that we didn't have was they had media, and they had the ability to advertise to us that white ice was colder for a couple decades. Exactly. So that once the barriers were put down where we could go and try some of that white ice, they had already programmed us that it was colder, so we couldn't wait for an opportunity to go test it. And the same thing with all of their stores, they knew how to use the marketing engine to say, yeah, it's cool that you got your own doctors over there, but look at our doctors who came from Harvard and all this kind of stuff. So it made us, they helped to diminish what we had going on, even though it was good for us. And that marketing piece no one talks about either had a big part in helping us cross those tracks to spend our money outside of our community the first time we were actually able to do so. And that was a big part of you know, the fall, because Black Wall Street was put together. I was in Tulsa 2 years ago, and if you walk along Greenway, Archer, and Pine, you see bricks in the street that says the date that this place reopened. And 80% of those bricks say the date that the place reopened. So it was rebuilt in 4.5 to 5 years. And it was with that marketing campaign and with the integration that really caused it to crumble. The bombing was devastating. And we don't talk about that. Those houses were looted first, right? They burned down. Yeah. They were looted first, never. But the bombing was devastating. But the resiliency of that people with no insurance, because the insurance didn't pay out. Everybody had everything insured like they should, but they didn't pay out. And to still say, okay, we're just gonna keep doing what we've been doing, and to able to rebuild that entire community in less than 5 years was a phenomenal feat in and of itself. But it was the ability to go across the tracks and spend money in Tulsa that actually caused a lot of those businesses that crumbled, and that marketing arm was a big
Give me one reason, why Blacks, and tell me if you touched upon this, because I've been in and out. Why do Blacks choose not to patronize Black businesses at all?
That's it. And I wanted to chime in on the why we don't spend with each other. Devon alluded to it, because we're sick. And nobody wants to address that point, right? We are sick. See, she brought up crabs in a bucket, and I don't want to spend with this brother, because this brother gets to send his kids to school on my dime, forgetting about he's giving me a service of a good meal to provide for my family, but I don't want him to shine. I don't want him to shine, so to speak. But when you think about crabs in a bucket, you have to remember that the bucket is not their natural habitat. So while they are pulling each other down in the bucket, that ain't how they behave in the ocean.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. Now think about, if we get to our natural habitat, we don't behave like that. So we've got to break down this bucket deal. Let's talk about the bucket. We've got to break down the bucket. And that's when our behavior changes. We're just out of our natural element, and you take anybody out of their natural element, then they too become sick, right? You take that elephant who's at the circus with a little bitty rope tied around his ankle, tied to a stake in the ground. We're talking about a 4-ton animal tied down with a rope because he's sick and he's taken out of his natural environment. Take that same elephant, put him in the Serengeti in Africa, and he's mowing over trees. Because he's in his natural environment, he knows his strength, he knows what he's doing. We got to get out of this man-made environment and get back into our natural environment so that we can exist. I like to harp on all the time when it comes to faith and belief. And he even said when he talked about what we speak and what we say, there's 3 things that I believe about me. And I don't know if you have the courage to adopt these beliefs. There's 3 things that I believe about me. Number 1, I believe I'm a God under the Most High God. Sure. Point blank, period. And that simply means that I am the son of the Creator, and I am fully responsible for the world in which I created. Yes, sir. So if it is upside down, I did that. And if it's going to be flipped right side up, I got to do it. Second thing that I believe about me is that I can believe all things with a capital A, capital L, and a capital L. All things mean all things. I believe I can do all things. And I carry myself that way. And then the third thing that I believe about me is that everything the sun touches belongs. Now, to say it biblically, everywhere the soles of my foot tread has been given to me. But some of us don't have it in us to believe that way, and that's why we live in the conditions that we live, because we don't realize that our beliefs precipitate our thoughts. Our thoughts are where the words come from. The words create the actions create the habits dictate character, and character determines your destiny. At any point, I don't like where I'm destined to be, I have to go back to how I believe. Period. When you fix that, everything else is.
Okay, I was on the internet reading some things, and I came across this. It said, if you want to maximize your odds of success as a Black entrepreneur, leave African Americans behind. This statement was taken from a blog entitled, if you're a Black business owner who wants to succeed, leave the African American consumer behind. And in this article, they went to talking about why the Black woman don't support the Black man. She was all in left field somewhere. What is your view on totally leaving your people behind? Saying, you know what, I don't need your money, I don't want it. I want totally.
I think that we have to remember what business is first and foremost. Business is about providing solutions to a problem. Period. And when you are in business, you want to be one of three things. You want to be the best, you want to be the only, or there's a third one. You want to be the best, you want to be the only, or you want to be, I'll think of the third one as it comes to, and I can't think of it right now. But if you are focused solutions first, if your solution is solving a problem for Black people, fine. But if your solution is one that solves a problem internationally or globally, then that might require you to not focus on that. But again, I can provide an international solution for the world, and my target avatar may not be Black people. But if I put my operations in the community where my people are, then still my people win. Because where does the tax revenue come from? Comes from the business owner, where it's placed, location. So my business is going to pay taxes in the Black community. I'm going to have employees that come into the Black community, and when they leave those places, before they get out of the Black community, they might have to stop and get gas in the Black community. So even if my target avatar is not the Black community, we still serve our people by making sure that we put our businesses that may serve a different dynamic in the community, so that either way it goes, our people win. Now, I'm just my service is targeted for the Black person, is the Black avatar. But if it wasn't, if I was doing something else, I would still make sure that my business headquartered in the Black community. So, because I understand that how the revenue and how everything is set up from a tax base and a tax perspective, all of that matters versus us putting our business headquarters in other cultures and other communities amongst other families, where that tax revenue goes and it strengthens those communities. That's the problem that we're having. So if we, whether we serve Black people only or not, we should still have our presence in the Black community for that purpose only. Even if I had a business where I wasn't comfortable with my clientele coming to the Black community, I could still run a headquarters from the Black community and have my face-to-face operation somewhere else. My Black people can still win based on the production of my business. So we've got to start thinking differently and start thinking broadly. And then today, with the use of the internet, we talked about distribution a little bit. We can go straight to consumer with a lot of stuff that we're doing. So we can be headquartered pretty much anywhere and still serve as local communities.
Any questions?
Me, you spoke about, well, you all, I enjoyed everything that you all said, but I was wondering about, you brought up sickness. How do we heal our sickness of our thoughts? We have so much information, positive information that people see. It's like knowledge is power, but how do we help folks to apply this good news and start acting in their greatness, in their power, and thinking outside this box bucket?
Yeah.
We've been taught to take God out the box. So let's live in that greatness.
Right.
So how do we do that?
I would add to that, we have to, those of us who are going through the healing process, and are benefiting from it, we have to put that on full display. See, nobody is going to do the work that a few of us have decided to do unless they see the benefits of us doing it first, right? They're not, if you can't see that my life changed because I read The Magic of Thinking Big, you'll never read it. Absolutely. But if you see the effect that that has had on me, now I stand a greater chance when I recommend that to you that you would read it. So I think those of us who have elevated to a different level and are starting to reap the benefits thereof, we have to do a better job of communicating that so that it becomes more appealing than staying in ignorance. And that's where we begin to heal. So panels like this, and as we form coalitions and start working together, the people need to see the fruits of the labor first before they go to start working. Us, on the other hand, we are entrepreneurs, right? What do they say about entrepreneurs? Entrepreneurs are the only people on the planet that will jump off a cliff first and build a parachute on the way down. That's us. We will jump off a cliff first and construct a parachute on our way down. That's just how we live. So as we start to attain success, we have to do a better job of communicating. Yes, it's scary when you get to the edge and you look over, and then we can say that's where you made your first mistake. I didn't look over. I took a running start and I just jumped. And then we can help them start to understand that it's worth doing, and they will be less fearful because they see our success. And then they can, you know, take some action steps about it. You have to think about something. Why do we go to an Asian restaurant? Do we go to fried rice? But in other words, you go into an Asian restaurant to get a piece of Asian culture. I don't go to the Asian restaurant for a burger and fries. That's American culture. Why do you go to the East Indian restaurant? Because you want some of that spicy turmeric filled piece of their culture. That thing, that music. They don't cater or change and try to introduce you and make you comfortable in their environment. You're going to their environment for a piece of their culture. But we as a people are trying to become everybody else's culture to appease them. And that's why they won't spend with us, because when they come in and say, oh, y'all trying to be like us. I'm trying to go get some authentic Black cooked soul food, but you got soul food cooked like my mama cooked it. I don't want that. I want your culture. When they come into our places of business, they want to hear a little bit of our music, right? Magic Johnson said something very profound when he talked about the success that he had with his Starbucks. He said, what happened? Why was my Starbucks so successful as a Black man? He said, you know what? When people came into my Starbucks, I couldn't play that music. No. They had to hear some Earth, Wind, and Fire. They had to hear some Four Tops and Delphonics. I had to bring my culture to Steve Schultz's deal in order for me. I couldn't serve scones. I take the scones out, man. We gotta get some pecan pie for this joint. Because this is what we do. Same thing with his theater. He said, when y'all go to y'all theaters, y'all like popcorn and y'all like Coke and Coke. He said, when we go to the movies, we don't go to the movies and do dinner somewhere else. We go to the movies and have our dinner at the movies. Right. So we have to have something of substance. And y'all drink these kinds of sodas. My people grew up on Kool-Aid. So we got to get some strawberries, some raspberries, and some oranges. And when he created the culture, that's why he had so much success. But we are, like Dr. Land said, trying to leave our culture behind and imitate everybody else. And the only reason that anybody will ever respect you as a human being, let alone a culture, is because of your authenticity. We have none. That's why we're not respected in the marketplace. The only time we're authentic is when we're at home. That's it. When we go into our jobs, or on the job, what are we doing? We're changing everything up because we don't want to offend. We're trying to be cool and politically correct and all that. And that's why we're losing.
Hashtag don't lose your swag.
Don't lose your swag.